I am going to do a draw on this Tuesday dedicated to the energy of Mars. Being the election day, kind of see what's going on. So we'll do a full Golden Dawn spread, which is a 15 card read, and I'll show you what I'm doing at the end. But right now I'm going to just talk you through it. And so there's 5 different types of sets in the Golden Dawn spread. In the center is the question at hand, and so we're looking at the politics. So the center of the card, I would put in the air aspect or in the mind aspect, is the devil or the Capricorn frequency. This is a contract that we make with this character, whoever the character is as president when we elect, just like a marriage. He's in our house. Our house is the Americas, blah, blah, blah. As we move into possible outcomes, it could be Mercury in Virgo, the wisdom gathering space, the 10 of discs. We're going to go around. This is a Fibonacci draw, a spiral motion. One of the changing influences affecting the election, Jupiter and Capricorn, right back to the middle. Now I'm pulling all air. Mercury is also governs the air. And the Hermit is associated with the Virgo frequency on the previous one. This one is back to the devil, to the Capricorn, looking in the dark and the delusions. This is the 2 of discs, which is evolution and adaptability for Jupiter with material assets. In the psychological influences of this election are the Sun in Scorpio, the 6 of Cups. This is the procreative force at the heart. So this would be the same as what I desire, can it be manifested? Can this person help be an agent of what I desire? This elect in the air aspect, again in the mind. And the last air card in the karma, meaning the energy of that which has already been in this lifetime or in previous lifetimes, is the 5 of Cups, which is Mars in Scorpio. So again, we have the procreative energy, just like in the changing influences on the Mars force, the lightning bolt of spirit, which innervates and moves everything. Back to the center, I'm going to pull all of the water cards, the feminine mother. At the center of the question of an election is the Princess of Cups. Am I able to have full expression of self, this is how I translate it, and honor my ancestors with this elector? The history of the land, the history of my own people, whatever my people are. Subconscious runs on autopilot as part of the earth code through the DNA. Going into the next water and into one of the possible outcomes. These are 3 outcomes, and they're all related. Just like in the I Ching, one thing is dying and something is becoming. And so these are, as I see it, the 3 faces of the same energy. So in one of the possible outcomes, the previous one was Mercury in Virgo, in the air, in the mind element, the wisdom, but it's also full of wisdom, and the light has to shine, so something changes on earth with that one, with the Mercury in Virgo. In the water aspect, this is the Knight of Wands. In this deck, this is the King of Fire. Fire, fire. So, free expression of spirit. Chaos. It's possible that the spirit is freed completely by all of this, regardless of who's elected, especially with the 10 of discs showing up as a partner on outcomes, which could be the Mars force, the lightning bolt, the procreative energy through spirit, having that expression. Changing influences on the water aspect, the Knight of Swords. Again, this is a king in this deck, so this is fire over air. This is basically like this, the father having the support of the son, meaning the spirit having the support of the mind. So the mind is ready to shift and adapt to bring in the new evolution. This is a good sign for all beings, regardless of opinions. In the psychological influences in water, we have the Eight of Wands, which is Mercury in Sagittarius. This is the mind being governed by the higher self. Another good sign. Fast-moving fire, a lot of action can be taken without thinking when you're with your higher self. I like this card. A lot of people don't like the higher levels of the fire, but I have a lot of Sag in my chart, so I know how good it feels to have that fire put to creative use, and it has to be put in creatively. The karma on water, on the feminine, the subconscious plane of the earth, is the Chariot. This is, the karma has to do with turning the empathy inward and honoring that. It's interesting, or you could say, I really love this card because this really is the compassion mother on the karma. But the service of self in selfishness or the service of others in selflessness can both be poisonous. And so I see this as the karma of too much service outward, too much service inward. It's not balanced. But this could also be a really beautiful card in other translations. But I see that in the political arena, more to do with that. In the fire, at the center, the masculine governing spiritual aspect of it are the lovers. What's really cool is the moon in the selection is in Gemini, and this is the Gemini card. So the feelings in Gemini, and at the center of this is the aspect of, this is my right side, so the subconscious right hemisphere and the self-conscious left hemisphere, which reflects upon the data that moves back and forth. That's the lovers. Or me to you, this is the other lover. I'm aware of myself, but I'm not fully aware of you, so you become my subconsciousness or you become my moon. So at the center of this is resolving opposites. There is no opposition. There's only one in the spiritual aspect. And the outcomes on fire on the spiritual aspect. This is a high priestess. This is the source of the waters. This is the subconscious mother herself as the Akashic records, the record of history of all of humankind of all time and all beings. So as an outcome, we will be cleaning up a matrix and there will be a big change across the board. And this is yet another beginning. There's been many beginnings in the last few years. And this is another beginning. In another changing influence in the fiery aspect of spirit, we have the moon in Libra, Imbalance. So what this is, again, this is just like the Gemini card of the lovers, except instead of the internal external realities, this is more the thought and the feelings about the internal and external realities, because it's the moon in Libra. And so it's balancing that inward and outward self of worry and desire, or overthinking and competition, all of these things. So in a changing influence, we're trying to find a balance between, in the body, the liver and the spleen, or between fight and flight, where all the energy is going out to survive, or rest and digest, where it goes inward to thrive. So we're trying to get out of a pattern of enslavement and abuse of other or self. Abuse or neglect of other or self. We the collective. In the fiery aspect of the psychological influences is Saturn in Pisces, the Eight of Cups. Saturn is the body, just like the Capricorn of the devil is shown at the center of this, of the contract of Earth. And in Pisces, this is when I see this over and over in the last year, this is the shifting of consciousness from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. Now, what that means is the Piscean age is that you're functionally under the influence of the subconscious when you're stuck in the Piscean age, and you're not free to be above the water. Now, the Aquarius card, if I find it, I'll show it to you, has a heron that's red in it. On the Michael card, which was associated with this one, with Sagittarius, Temperance, what you have is a movement of the higher self between fire, my right-sided masculine, and water, my left-sided feminine, although they cross at the brain, right? What you have is a space where union is found from left to right and above to below through the Aquarian frequency. The Aquarius is known as the star. It's part of the collective inventive mind, and it's the harmonious beehive frequency. This is the time when the opposites are found in resolution and union, and a marriage of the self happens without distortion to the inner and outer environment. So to step into the Aquarian age as part of the psychological influences, it's about evolving this body through mind, through spirit, because the body, the subconscious, is the most densely organized state of being, meaning it's just like the three states of matter. Fire, air, and water are fire, gas, air, liquid, water, solid, or the three primordials there. Or you can work with color if you want, however you want to think of the three mothers. And then the last on the karmic cycle of the masculine, the fire. What is on the karma of fire? The Queen of Swords. Ooh, I know what this one is. When we started fighting one another originally and seeing the other as not self and not harmonizing and instead disagreeing and competing and hurting, we created a false king because it's on the fire of karma, which should be a masculine. The Queen of Swords is the bitchy feminine who became a bitch in the house, and your feminine is your body, is your subconscious plane. We're all feminine too. Who was abandoned through this war of self and other, abandoned in her house without the truth of spirit. So the mind would often, the air would dance with spirit and be like an Eastern mystic or a whirling dervish and just stay in bliss. Or the mind would dance with body and be like a corporate leader, acquiring wealth and garnering power, but not having the spirit of the collective in it. So that it's caused, this character is about our subconscious bitch, we the collective, letting her go, because that's not here anymore. So, that's it. I'm not going to show you the whole spread, although I thought I would. Love you.